Yeah, I figured I'd go ahead and look presidential today. At least this is what I'm going to wear when I'm president. Little, little suit here with a hoodie. Man, it's the Erskin Music Show. I'm so glad that you guys are here. We're going to try to figure out a way to get ourselves banned from Facebook. No, not really. But we are going to talk about I got schooled once again today. If you want to learn something in your adult life, don't go back to school. Just have kids and then homeschool them. And then when they ask you questions about President's Day, actually finding the answers to those things in history will help you out in this world. And so we're going to talk a little bit about President's Day. Hopefully you guys had a fantastic day. Yesterday was President's Day all over the contiguous and extra two states that are out there, United States. And so I wanted to begin today with just a couple of things that, presidents have said over the years, and hopefully it won't get me banned from Twitter, banned from Facebook, and banned from YouTube. But nonetheless, I think this is a funny way to start this, because President's Day and thinking about presidents, Democrat, Republican, that can be a little dicey these days. And so I wanted to begin with a little bit of levity as we start today. Dolphins are in tow. They're around, and also Big Head is here. I want to make sure you guys knew that. All right. This was Abraham Lincoln, who said, "Whenever I hear anyone arguing for slavery, I feel an impulse to see it tried on him personally." Abraham Lincoln, circa August 14th, 1962. Don't think that one would age very well in the Twitter universe if someone said something like that these days. Nonetheless, it's history. He's already said it. He's gone. All right. This is President Obama. Dolphins. I know you guys love this. President Obama, who said, "I've now been to 57 states. I think I have one left to go." All right, here we go. Oh, what about that? I think there's just 50 still. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's still just 50. This is Ronald Reagan. What do you guys think about Ronald Reagan? Well, he actually said, "I've noticed everyone who is for abortion has already been born." That's kind of a true statement there. They actually, you should get a magic blast on that one, Ronald Reagan. This was circa September 21st, 1980. This is Dan Quayle, my friends. Dan Quayle, you cannot be president if you say things like this. "I love California. I practically grew up in Phoenix." I don't know if you can. Okay, we'll look at geography a little bit later. Don't worry about that one, Dan Quayle. Maybe that's why he didn't become president. And last but not least, I don't want to do this all day long, but I will begin with this. Last but not least, Donald Trump. And I know I should have been reading my Bible and been in earnest devotion this morning, and should have been just fixed on with the Lord and all those different things. And I was, except when I read this quote, I was laughing hilariously. President Trump, former President Trump, all of these are former presidents and or vice presidents. Former President Trump said, "Frederick Douglass is an example of somebody who's done an amazing job and is being recognized more and more, I noticed." President Trump. Okay. President Trump, Frederick Douglass died in 1895. I don't know that he's being recognized more and more, but we'll get up to speed on that Black history stuff. And so today, the Erskin Music Show, we're doing it once again, as only we could, with levity and some seriousness, talking about President's Day and more. All right, comment section is turned on, guys. I want to let you guys know that from the jump. Got some tags there for Erskin Music to let you guys know that you guys can join in the show. We are live right now, and so the benefit of the live audience is you guys jump on, you guys make comments, and you guys are the first ones to show up in the comment section there. And so do that. Put some gobbledygook or whatever you guys are going to put in there. I'll put it on the screen if it's of great value. Some of you guys just boosting up the algorithm, and I do appreciate that. I think we're up to 900 subscribers now, so you guys keep that energy. Matter of fact, why don't we just go ahead and give us the tags right now, since I'm going to be using some source material. I want you guys to know this. According to the Copyright Act of 1976, this disclaimer, Section 107, allows fair use, is in fact, for the purpose of criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, and scholarship, and also research. So we'll keep that energy going. Here is all the different places where you can subscribe to and or find more information about the Erskin Music Show. We are on YouTube, of course, Facebook, of course, Twitch, Twitter, and when we get LinkedIn online, we will be taking over the world. Remember, so that you guys don't miss a single episode of this fantastic and presidential show. All right, as I said before, Big Head is in the studio today. Big Head, what's going on? Give Big Head some fireworks showing up. Just across the room, but actually on the screen here. Big Head, you're the voice of reason for this show, and so we're going to have a good one today. I think people are going to learn. I learned about President's Day more than I had ever known about President's Day. Just thinking it was a great holiday to get some stuff for some music gear from all the different outlets. But nonetheless, there's some good history that can be learned today, and we're going to press on. Each day we have a devotional that we do on this show. And so we don't want to skip the devotional today. Grab your Bibles, turn your Bibles on, however you process Bible in your world. Let's get that going. I don't have a fancy icon for today. You guys just have to get your Bibles. You have to think about having a Bible and holding a Bible, and that is the fancy icon for today. We're gonna go for the black floppy Bible today. One verse here, we're talking about President's Day, so we're talking about leadership today. And let's get the Dolphins queued up. All right, they're ready to go. Dolphins said they're ready. The Dolphins are ready for the show. All right. So we've got 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 1. One verse for today, 1 Corinthians 11, verse 1. And this is on the subject of leadership. I figured since we were doing presidents and we were doing all manner of things leadership-wise, the good, the bad, and the funny, we've got 1 Corinthians 1:11. It's much easier. Let me see. Oh, here it is. Follow my example as I follow the example of Christ. 1 Corinthians 11:1. Follow my example as I follow the example of Christ. In our devotion for today, and this can be found in the show notes for today. So if you want to have this devotion in its entirety, along with the prayer that goes with it, please remember to follow the show notes for today. It is much easier to challenge others to do evangelism, according to devotion.com, than to personally be involved in this. This is especially true if we find ourselves in a leadership position. One key biblical principle is that leaders must first do what they are calling others to do. A leader does not hang back waiting to see what others are doing and then follow them. A leader is out front demonstrating how to live and how to act. A godly leader does not conform to the status quo, but sets the standard for others to follow. A leader who follows Christ by example. One way to demonstrate this, and they use an object lesson, is to placing a string on a table. When you pull the string, it follows you. But if you push the string, well, it bunches up and doesn't move forward well. When it comes to leading people, things go much the same way. They need to follow a person who is out front and leading by example. Here's where we bring this point home. Jesus, the greatest leader of all, took a towel and washed his disciples' feet. When he finished, he said, I have set you an example that you should do as I have done. That's leadership, according to devotion.com. And you can find that in its entirety in the show notes for today. Before we get the gospel choir going, I just like to freestyle a little bit on these devotions. Just sharing a couple of my own personal insights and words. You guys know that I'm working on a book, at least the concept and formulation of, and reading things that are devoted to the subject of leadership. And so that's very keen in my mind and keen in my understanding these days as we think about leadership and talk about leadership on this show. I'm reading everything, seeing things through the filter of leadership and good leadership, bad leadership, what that looks like. Obviously, the ultimate leader, as this devotion talks about, is Jesus himself, who led. But there's one thing that I would add to this, and this is not bad. The devotion was great today. But one thing that I would add to that is that in the leadership of Jesus, in spiritual leadership, you often find that leadership is in contradistinction and counter to the world that is around us. Can I get an amen? Can the gospel choir say it? Hallelujah! All right, we're not done yet. It's counter in distinction from the world that's around us. Jesus washing his disciples' feet was an example, yes, leading out for his disciples to follow the example that he had set for them, but that was something altogether different than the world around him. That was something altogether than the domineering type of aggressive, authoritative leadership that was around Jesus at the time. He's setting them an example, but that example is often counterculture. Here's where I want to drive the point home for today. Often our leadership is called upon in these days and in these generations to be leadership that leads against the grain. We're swimming upstream. We're living counterculture. When they say it's time to fight, maybe it's time for us to heal. When they say it's time for war, many cases it's time for peace. We need to bring that light and bring that perspective to the world that's around us so that they begin to see leadership that is not leading in the same direction the rest of the world is going. Aggressive, domineering. Here's how you get things done. Overpaced, overworked, burned out. But it is leadership at the pace and in the style and with the kingdom in mind as Jesus led his followers. Hallelujah! 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 Yeah, you better have your tambourine ready if you're doing this show. If you're watching this show, get a tambourine and have it ready. Man, that's a good devotion for today. And that concludes our devotion for today. Keep your Bibles out. Do whatever you need to do as far as that's concerned. Talking a little bit about President's Day and how cool that is to actually know something about President's Day. And so I have queued up a video here and I will stop and make a couple of insights about. Well, here's what we're going to do. Since it is the Erskin Music Show, let's have some Erskin music. Let's have him come to the show. Erskin, how about All in My Head? Love it.
They say it's all in my head, it's all in my mind. How could I love someone I've never seen? They say it's all in my head, it's all in my mind. How could I love you with every part of me? They say there's nothing special when I take a stand, 'cause they don't seem to understand what I am is who I am. Real life is more than virtual reality. Some believe and never see what they say is not stopping me. Yeah. They say it's all in my head, it's all in my mind. How could I love a God that I've never seen? They say it's all in my head, it's all in my mind. How could I love you with every part of me? I know that I am not the only one who sees the stars and feels the sun and knows just how it all was done. You know, we can't take back our yesterday, the things we do and words we say, pave the path and lead the way. They say it's all in my head, it's all in my mind. How could I love a God that I've never seen? They say it's all in my head, it's all in my mind. How could I love you with every part of me? Cause if it's all in my head, then I'm just lost in my sin. I'm lost within, I'm lost and need a friend. Cause if it's all in my head, then I'm just singing the songs, words, verbs, time to move on. Cause if it's all in my head, then I'm just trapped in a maze. I'm lost in this life, I'm lost in living days. Cause if it's all in my head, it's all in my head. They say it's all in my head, it's all in my mind. Yeah, how could I love a guy I never seen? They say it's all in my head, all in my mind. How could I love you with every part of me? Yeah, 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 yeah. Every part of me, yeah, yeah, yeah. In the heart of me, yeah, yeah, yeah. All over me, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I am here. I was looking at that shirt and I was like, man, I remember that shirt. That was a cool shirt. I think I sold that shirt to Plato's Closet. So somebody out there may be wearing that shirt today. If you're wearing that shirt today and you like, hey, I just saw this music video on this same shirt that you had in there. That's a good shirt. I like that one. And then I was also looking at the wedding ring that I had on at that particular time. It was a gold one. As you can see now, it is no longer gold because I lost that one somewhere along the way. I've had about 3 or 4 of these. I'm ashamed to admit. But yeah, so that was all in my head from way back in the day. Love that song. It's an oldie but goodie. All right, the Erskin Music Show is rolling forward. We are keeping on for today. Our top story is we're going to talk about President's Day, and let's keep it rolling. All right, I'm going to share a little bit of soundbite with you guys from this video on President's Day, and it's got some fun facts in there. So those of you who are history minded, those of you who like to look at the deeper meaning behind things, you will find in this particular episode some good pieces of knowledge. And don't come in here trying to tell me that you already knew all this stuff. You didn't know all this stuff.
Your children or grandchildren got a day off from school. Many banks were closed, along with the New York Stock Exchange. And before we go tonight, let's explore the origins of today's federal holiday, Washington's birthday. Now, I can hear you. You're probably saying, hey, whoa, Pat, that's wrong. It's President's Day. And I'd kindly like to say, no, you're wrong. The phrase President's Day doesn't actually exist in federal law. Let me explain.
Did you know that?
For the first 2 decades of his life, George Washington celebrated.
Come on, folks. Man, that's why we got to read our primary source documents. That's what Mr. Horner was talking to me about. He said, you know what? There's going to be a lot of media and a lot of information out there. You guys need to learn how to read primary source documents. And so when you want to go back and you want to read something, go back and look at where it's actually found on record in official documents. Had I done that, I would have known that there is no President's Day up in that thing. All right, that's good. Good. Keep on going. George Washington, thanks.
Celebrated his birthday on February 11th. It is the day, after all, that he was born.
That seems pretty reasonable. Celebration of your birthday, February 11th. Okay, got it. We're good there. Watch this. Switch up.
1731. But the date of his birthday moved in 1752. That's when British Parliament adopted the newer Gregorian calendar.
Did you guys know that was the switchover that took place, the Gregorian calendar? And so now I did not know this. This is all just good history. I guess this would have actually not necessarily American history at this point yet. Well, I guess it is American history at this point, 1776. So the British Parliament and this whole sort of switchover thing that's going on here, that would have been something that would have been a shift for everyone's birthday, I would assume, at that particular time. And so, yeah, that's got schooled.
It shifted Washington's date of birth from February 11th to February 22nd. And in the years that followed, Washington's legend grew. He led the Continental Army during the...
Hey, we're talking about George Washington today. People cheering at my house.
American Revolutionary War. He served 2 terms as the fledgling country's first president. For that and more, Washington...
Okay, I'm not going to stop every few seconds here, but I don't know. Now, this we can study from history, but I don't know if people realize when they say fledgling country, how much of a roller coaster, how much of a teeter-totter the United States was when we first began. this was no certain this was no certainty in terms of what was going to happen in the American experiment. And many of us can look around today and we can say, how have we gotten to this place? And we could debate that, and we could debate foreign policy, and we could debate world history and all those different things. But let's just say that when we began, there was no certainty that this constitution, that this republic, that this democracy was going to exist very long. And so you have George Washington at the front of that. His legend obviously grows. People at my house are very excited about that. People at my house love George Washington, and as they should, as they should. And so a lot of good stuff around President's Day, in particular, George Washington's birthday, his reinstituted birthday, and then it gets even better from here. So I'm not going to stop the whole time, but I'll let you guys just kind of feast on that.
Washington was routinely celebrated around the country. But we can't talk about his accomplishments without mentioning his not-so-noble behaviors. Washington owned slaves on his Mount Vernon plantation. More on that another day.
All right. I said I wasn't going to keep stopping, but I'll come back to this statement a little bit later because I know you guys are curious.
Following his death in 1799, Americans celebrated Washington's February 22nd birthday informally for decades. In 1879, it became a federal holiday.
1879. Put that down in your notes today, kids.
Congress officially designated the 22nd day of the second month of the year a holiday for all federal workers. And every year since 1896, the U.S. Senate selects a member to read Washington's farewell address. It happens around February 22nd. This year, Republican Senator James Langford of Oklahoma is scheduled to deliver the remarks February 27th. The name President's Day was proposed to replace Washington's birthday in 1951, but it didn't happen then and has not changed since. Then, in 1968,
Get that one in your notes.
Congress passed the Uniform Monday Holiday Act. It designated certain holidays like Washington's birthday, Labor Day, and Memorial Day to be observed on Mondays. The reason? To give federal employees more three-day weekends. The thinking was it would be good for business and the economy. The law took effect in 1971, and oh boy, did the deals start flying for cars, mattresses, and appliances.
All right. Comment section. Did you guys take advantage of President's Day sales? They're there. They are there for the taking. I am getting copious amounts of information from Guitar Center and Sweetwater and everywhere else about all the guitars that are out there, all the amps that are out there, all the pedals that are out there, all the deals that are out there. We did not take advantage of them. We were doing other things on President's Day, not taking advantage of those deals, but they were out there. And so I'm sure you guys, much like every other holiday, get bombarded with all of the things that are out there related to the holiday. What did you actually do on President's Day? And this whole thing was generated in my mind and sprung to life because we were watching World Watch News, and they were talking about President's Day. And I was thinking, there's a lot of the history that's here that I don't know. For some reason, I guess I should have known this. I am an American, by the way. I should have known this, and yet I didn't know this. All right, let's go.
Okay, maybe not really. The new law combined Washington and Lincoln's birthday observances and moved them to the third Monday in February. Because of that, we've not actually celebrated Washington's birthday on his real birthday in more than 50 years. The rise of the term President's Day began thanks to advertising campaigns in the 1980s. They celebrated the office of the presidency rather than just Washington or Lincoln. And that brings us to today, where the only drama surrounding all of this is in the area of punctuation marks.
All right. I have made a decisive decision here on this show. President's Day. You can see what I put. But how do you actually write President's Day? Is it presidents with an apostrophe S? President's Day, celebrating all the presidents? Is it President's Day with an apostrophe at the end? All the presidents, plural, in that form? Or is it presidents, no apostrophe? You can see what I did on this show. Anyway, it's amazing where a punctuation mark goes. And I know what my English teacher would have said. My AP English teacher would have said. And it is not the way that it is found here. But let's go.
The whole focus is on that word, presidents. Is there no apostrophe? Does it go between the T and the S? Does it go after the S? The answer? Kind of depends. The Associated Press says no apostrophe. But more than a dozen states use the singular possessive, putting it between the T and the S, including the state of Oregon. Many others use the plural possessive, putting it after the S, including the state of Washington. That reflects that the holiday is meant to honor George Washington and Lincoln. But that apostrophe drama matters not to the federal government.
Oh, this is a nice little Wittgensteinian ladder. Well, is it this one, or is it this one, or is it this one? It doesn't really matter. It's none of them.
Out the federal law books, Title 5, Part 3, Subpart E, Chapter 61, Subchapter 1, Code 610.
Did you guys read Chapter 61, Subchapter 1, Code 6103? I had missed that one for some reason, but it is actually there. You can go check it out. Google that.
3. There's no such thing as President's Day. It's just Washington's birthday.
Now we done got schooled. President's Day, what's that? Said the aliens who came and landed on our planet. We're reading our primary source documents and saying, why are they celebrating President's Day? There is no such thing, according to this article in American Record of President's Day. It's Washington's birthday. Interesting. Didn't know that. Well, now the aliens know it. And they can use that against us.
And
All right. So we out of that. We done got schooled. Tell me, people, what kind of information? What? Let me get present. Let me get my Associated Press self in order this morning. All right. President's Day. All right. That's good. Very good. All right. Well, we keep rolling with that. I think there's a little bit of delay on my end, at least audio wise. Comment section is turned on. And so, oh man. Did you learn something today about President's Day? Did you learn something about the way that that is described in our primary source documents? All of that is important. All of that is something that, oh, I'm looking at this. Okay. I see how that was done. Let me get this up here. Come on, share the screen. Mount Rushmore. My son said, you need to do more giveaways on your show for Mr. Beast style. And I do need to do more giveaways. This is a practice one. If I was going to do a giveaway, I would do something to the effect of, what are the 4 presidents? First person that can name the 4 presidents for me that are on Mount Rushmore, I will give you something, but I don't have anything to give today. But that was just a practice one. There will be some day when I will actually have something to give away to you guys, and we'll be able to give it away to you guys on the show, during the show. We're trying to figure out what mechanism works best for that. Anyway, while we're efforting that, give us the 4 presidents. Do you guys know? Did you have to Google? I'm ashamed to say, all that AP history that I had, all the history that I tested out of, all the books that I have on my shelf, I got 3 of the 4. Doggone it. I hadn't been to Mount Rushmore. In fact, I want to put that on my list of things that we need to go and do as a family, and to go see Mount Rushmore, we need to go see the Grand Canyon, Grand Tetons, all the different things that are out that side of the United States. We need to go do some of those things. And so hopefully keep your ear to the track this summer. We're planning on going to California, or we'll go to Phoenix. They're about the same thing. You see how I did that, Dan Quayle. If you're watching this show today, I ain't mad at you. So we'll probably be out in that area, Colorado, Phoenix, maybe this summer. And so we may get to do some of those things. So keep your ear to the track. I say that just to say the Erskin Music Tour is marching on. All right. What did you learn today? What is going on with President's Day? I don't know if there's necessarily any lies, but there are certainly some things that I didn't understand. Some things that were misconceptions in my mind, and they are now clarified. And I am thankful for that. All right. President's Day. And I was like, what? Good stuff. All right, we're going to have Lydia come in here in just a moment and give us a special announcement about a retreat that's coming up. I went to go see the retreat center, and I've actually laid eyes on it myself, and this is going to be the grandest retreat that we have had. And I'm thinking about 6 years ago when we first started. Big Head, get up on the screen. Remember Rappin' Duke, Daha? I remember 6 years ago when we first started this desire. The Lord gave me a vision, have a writer's retreat. I knew nothing about writer's retreats except for you write songs. You get together, sing Kumbaya, write some songs. And so several years ago, 5 years ago to be exact, started this writer's retreat called Create. Did it at a log cabin out in Mount Jigget. And there it stayed for a couple of years. And then we've moved it around since then. It has grown to greater heights. And this new venue that we have, this retreat center that we are now doing this at, Camp Penuel, I think is what it's called, out in Ashland City. I went and viewed it yesterday. Incredible. It is exquisite. It is fantastic. And so I'm excited this year, not just for the content that is going to be refined and delivered to the folks who are there, but for our keynote speaker, David Delgado. You guys have heard his handiwork in the song Better Day. He's the co-writer of that song. You guys have seen his handiwork and heard his handiwork in the song Only Love. He's a co-writer on that as well. He has been a part of putting together the Erskin Music Just Dance official video. That is so good. And he's going to be our keynote speaker, and he's going to be sharing the artist development side. So we've added a portion to this, Big Head, in this year's retreat, in that we have writing of songs, songwriters retreat, kind of got to have that. Then you've got artist development stuff that's coming from myself, from Lydia, and then also David Delgado, who's going to be also doing some portfolio stuff. So if you're an artist and you're saying, how do I get started? Want to kickstart some things that are going on there, he's going to actually be doing some photos, some photography, some social media stuff for you guys to help you. And we're going to be talking about all those different things, unpacking it. And on Sunday, after church, we're going to be going and recording some of these songs by way of a demo that you will actually leave the retreat with, having known that you have been productive throughout. So I'm going to let Lydia talk about this. Presidents, you guys did a good job. Come up off the screen. Lydia, share with us what's going on in this world.
Hey, if you're a Christian songwriter, there's a great opportunity coming up the weekend of May 5th through the 7th in Nashville, Tennessee. It's the Create Songwriter Retreat. It will be hosted by yours truly, as well as Erskin and Vitarte, and featuring keynote speaker David Delgado. We are going to be doing co-writes and collaborating with other writers. We're going to be talking about artist development and getting insight and personal advice for your music career. This is going to be amazing. We're going to be recording demos of the songs that we write in the studio together, and this is just so valuable. We need each other. We need community. So if you're looking for co-writers, for collaborators, for encouragement in your craft and in your career, check out the Create Songwriter Retreat coming up May 5th through the 7th in Nashville, Tennessee. You do not want to miss this. So apply today to get more information. Would love to see you there.
All right. So we're about to land the plane here. Slow the roll down for the show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in the Erskin Music Show. Thank you guys for being a part of the experience. I know there's people who watch this in time delay. I'm looking at the world map here in front of me, and there's people all across the globe who watch this show. And so if you're watching this show today, this evening, tonight, this afternoon, thank you guys so much for being a part of the experience. We're going to come back and talk about revival. There's several sort of key revivals that are breaking out around America. Revival, outpouring, awakening. Going to share the difference between some of those things. The first, Asbury revival. And then actually, after the show tomorrow, I'm splitting. I'm gone. I'm out of this place. I'm going up to Kentucky to check out what's going on with the Asbury revival. And I know they've got some restrictions and different things that are going on there now, but I wanted to kind of get in the proximity, pray for the folks that are there, and then share a little bit of my insights, because I know there's a lot of discussion that's going on with folks related to the subject of revival. So we're going to parse that out tomorrow, and then I'll be doing my own investigative report. So yeah, you'll want to pay attention to that. Now, Thursday, we have already pre-recorded. It is a book review on the book. What is this name of this book? Joy, The Culture of Joy, by Scott Drew. I think that's the title. Nonetheless, I think it's the first book review that I've done on this show, and I'm excited to share that with you guys. Encourage you guys to read books. We talked about leadership today. Leaders are readers, and readers are leaders. Look at that. So it's the Erskin Music Show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Appreciate you guys. Can't find the button, but we will eventually find that button. We out.